into what this means for us. This compulsory voting bill that has been sponsored and has scaled through the second reading in the House, the National Assembly, and it has reached reactions, I must say. When looking at says if those against a constitution, I think it was to part of the laws that no, I've got with me from it yesterday, and I like the record of Yiaga Institute here with us. You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you so much for taking out time to be here. Let's look at the bill itself. We'll start from the overview, the compulsory bill that's still through the Senate, and part of had talked to the here perspective make it.
So, two members of the National Assembly, one of them is the Speaker of the National Assembly, and a member, thought the level of turnout of elections is quite low. Nigeria is accuracy, but the turnout level in our election, we have the lowest. Last second, 27%. In 2019, it was 35%. So you look in 1998, the turnout force have claimed. For instance, we're going to go to another question. Manchester, the current governor, Professor Charles, I think became governor with 18% of the last election. So we have where the minority are detaining voluntary majority. When it's supposed to be your way around. This is why we always encourage citizens to vote, because if you don't show up to cast the votes, rest assured the minority will determine who will govern. We will also be wasting taxpayers' money. So if in our voters register there are about 19 million people, when INEC is budgeting for elections, it budgets on the 93 million, not the number of the votes can. So every non-voter, that's not people that you on election day, the PC that you hold before election, is used taxpayers' money used to produce. So when only 27% people show last election, it may happen, over 500 million out of waste. That's hundreds of millions that went to waste. That money could have been used to buy scholarships, grants to fans or traders. We have them, and the National Assembly recognizes this problem. The challenge is this sort of thing, their wisdom. This way of this problem is to make voting compulsory. And we have a problem with making it compulsory. The first one is you make voting compulsory because if you on from it talks if you voting because not voting in an election is form of participation. And you've been infringing the rights of citizens. In voting. This reason why we strongly defend this particular bill is that it doesn't solve why people not doing upcast. This is not fair. Because when they vote, people face the same people that vote use the power to wrestle and solve problems that people have asked them to give to the national governments. We reach these people are protecting our interests. To an extent, they are advancing their own interests, also interests. So it's not the interest of the people. Still waste time because of the quality of governance. These people are not showing up to cast their vote. It's because they believe their votes count. Because how is it done elections and the results on the F, the results at the polling is 5 copies that come from INEC complaint.
Yeah.
How do you explain that? So people have in the process and they are system because they feel that over cases where people vote for a candidate, INEC declares the candidate the winner because that candidate is the popular, the mouse to the court. The court needs to, rely on the candidates and then supplant and changes, the declared, which is a reflection of the will of it, and then anoints another person. The election, where this where we have the courts in a way, that completely unpopular choice. And so these are some of the reasons. There are certain administrative bottles that prevented a section general of voting. For instance, and I say as a journalist, and I mean you, Kimberly, I remember the last time you voted in an election because of the you're in the studio, you are roving. Yeah. Is it that the thousands of families that we have in Nigeria are able to have their vote? Why are the census who are making elections are unable to cast their vote? There are prisoners who are in our detention facilities. Their rights to vote are also denied. Also have election observers. So in our electoral system, we don't make provisions for these people to cast their vote. And I tell you, when you put all the working close to 35 million people who want to vote elections, so it's able to use the vote in a case. South Africa is the category of people cast their votes before the elections because you have the vote in special voting. The National Assembly should addressing these 3 challenges that are vital and not paying people. I
have heard arguments that you have large number of votes out on election day that is also going to systematically call them of those maybe perhaps regain process and irregular elections. They're not be overwhelming. Where do you want to start from?
Absolutely, if you do that, the dip here is where it is voluntary or it is sanction or coercion. Coercion comes into it. It is not democratic or office. Short vote about in that is free and it's that's why these elections have to be free. They have to be fair. They have to be correct. The moment you people go and because spontaneism or people will come out to vote because they don't want to vote, and therefore what you are doing is you're already tainting the choice make. So the outcome of that, and not to be out of the legitimate will of the poll. The point about it. That's what you have now. If I am going to make a decision, this is why you have the secrecy of the ballot. When you go into that vote, just you ballot paper decision without forming first. So if the outcome is product of free choice, and when you have outcome, and those correct outcome cannot let me rest.
All right, I'll put it but there are some concerns and track the list here from even you feels certain that you would get into to find you don't. Yeah. It is an impression that they kind of have made much for you to.
Yeah.
If we say it's obtainable in this country,
the question there is when you look at those systems, They don't have electoral commissions who don't incidents. They don't have electoral commissions that are by politicians. They don't have electoral commissions that have partisan leanings as resident commissioners and national commissioners. They don't have those. The level of trust in the process. So when we compare with Australia, the last even Egypt, if you look at Egypt and Brazil, your two countries have some of false voting has been used as a tool of political pressure with the government of the day. And so these laws have to be with our own present reality. As far as Africa and all institutions that they have said, where we want to be democracy or we want to be a use democracy, and we know that freedom is on democracy. We people to go and cast the vote. Should be doing is to ensure that we the systems in place that encourages people to come out to cast their vote at elections, in that the vote will count. That's what we should be prioritizing. And so when you look at the compulsory voting bill, we are not opposed to the rationale.
Okay.
To be clear, the reason for the bill, it's also the challenge is the approach. Voting is draconian. It's also that bill shall prevail ahead. Second, that National Assembly should do all things. And electronic transmission of results, and safe Nigerians for 2027. Remove
electronic transmission of results.
Electronic transmission. Which phase?
When you electronic transmission, well, technically, we do some electronic transmission of results.
No. The Supreme Court position of is that electronic translation or transmission of results is not part of the Supreme Court, and which has that the INEC introduced as a game changer. No, in knowledge to a great extent. And you know, there's also said on the outcome and action. Supreme Court said in their wisdom that has the process current position of the law. And so what National Assembly do is okay. The Supreme Court has ruled ruling a product of either a misinterpretation or saying the law. This reform process is the opportunity to adjourn, have requested and have demanded the others that the electoral session result. If National Assembly is truly on the way of the law, right? The priority should be focus and trying to advance is mandate electronic transmission. Okay. Nigerians have also said in Assembly, we want you to review of appointments into INEC because appointing authority appoints their cronies are materials into INEC. We cannot have an INEC or elections that are superintended by politics. There is no way you will trust the outcome. So if you want to build trust and confidence, powerful elections, in INEC's proposal for amendment, INEC is also proposing that the power to appoint should be moved from the president and the INEC. So INEC can appoint state direct of elections. As also you already have where all the commission appointed by the president.
The National Assembly should force legitimate country.
I only mentioned a few.
You mentioned one of them, two, and you said four. I was waiting for you to get.
Third thing that the National Assembly needs, and what Nigeria have said, is ensure that we streamline timeline. Election cases will end in. Okay. The reason why that is so when the incumbent comes into office, it does power of incumbency to influence, whether directly or indirectly, judicial outcomes. I think it plays get us and then the person on. We've seen cases where incumbents have used that proportionately affect our opponents. So it is at pre-election cases, petitions, and for swearing. That's the major priority. The fourth priority is we don't need PVCs to vote. Like we send people with no PVC, no. When we have the beavers that has the star or voting installed on it, why not the national or trust any official ID polling unit and then tender that form of once decided the bus and name register, they allow cast that.
I think they're buying into this.
No, yes, INEC was that. It's also part of INEC proposal. INEC is even taking it a notch hard to see this legal electronically downloadable spring INEC side one to be able to cast your vote. We think that is a very safe proposal. Conjunction if which is in and special for jury and special election duty like journalists, like security agencies, like INEC, ad hoc officials, accredited observers, things like sporal voting, and so as well as prisoners voting. Those administrative sort of would really help finance who are
or if you're talking state or Yiaga Africa on the compulsory voting bill. Obviously, Yiaga Africa is pursued and that was on the constitution to make it mandatory for Nigerians to vote. However, this has listed areas that we should focus on that's a bit more pressing as with whatever fears Nigerians have about the control that is kind of like see only for making that it's not about not one vote. We don't trust you now that people actually pro you give them their words dropped is that you can address it. However, we heard from Nigerians after the draw particular of the election. For example, in this election, the police will upload results real time and we saw the presidential election. So people don't I'm not going to because I don't know for sure. My vote is down. And honestly, I even MB groups immediately have people go to vote to see this responsibility. Well, the people already had trust issue. I let this team. So we'll break. I have to see my phone lines buzzing. We'll get you to see here for a few more minutes. And I'll read your comment. We'll stick phone. Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hot and I bring you the biggest stories driving every day here on Night for Nigeria for Hardship. Let's go and audio here on Hot.
This is Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. This is Info. Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info. This is you. This is your Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria. This is your info.
Live on Facebook and YouTube at Nigeria Info, and we're talking about the compulsory vote. My guest is the Executive Director of Yiaga Africa, Samson Itodo. Said it is anti-progressive and not the way what the voter party. They did recognize that indeed we do have a problem with vote. I gave figures last election and 2 elections back, and it felt like numbers reduced significantly. Now, given the high we had 23 election and the movement, that thinking it is starting out people of election, but when the numbers came, we don't find out that number reduced. People the number of people that I said collected the P and people who registered for that. So you show the profit. But how do you be confident? Well, I guess touch them off. Phone lines are buzzing. And we have from 2 or 3 of the calls back to market. Hello.
Hello.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
If I can be with the kids, do what to do. Because that is the people. You cannot force people to vote compulsory. From the system. Put the system. That give us clear election. What you can. If I allow to say that, I want to watch there.
Right, I don't know what. All right, so you did one with the idea of the bill. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. This is Mr. Chris calling from me.
Go ahead.
And if my candidate is not an official and my candidate is I will use them and nobody can prosecute me for being silent. Otherwise, let them go and do what I did and that's what them. So they don't play.
All right, thank you very much. Let's hear you next. Hello.
Hello, Cora.
Yes, you're welcome.
I don't agree to Donald calling from Nigeria. In a situation where I have food, in a situation where I have with this brain, you understand? And the same control of we don't see anybody and now that kind of remaining yet forever.
All right, thank you very much. Hello. Welcome to the show. Name. Talk to us.
I want to make very people your guest. What I want to say is that you did compulsory because when you look this is compulsory for you to vote, but they did not say compulsory to choose the lap. So it's opportunity to go really now. It's another way to make that because anything that they will force you to go there, they cannot force you to vote who you wanted to vote. So you have choice. It was a bit difficult. Now say that they waited them to say they will do everything. It will be available. It doesn't matter.
All right, thank you very much. Hello.
Good afternoon, Kim.
Welcome.
My name is Damo. For advice to National Assembly that since they don't want to do a platform, they will be voting for all Nigerians and anybody that votes, never worry. Please tell them that you turn that complex to prison. Prison will not contain Nigerians anymore. I would after see what I saw in prison. Yes, and
I demand that you really prison. It's not good. Here last one we talked about.
Thank you, John.
Good evening.
Hello, my name is Mike. When Wind Blows. Wonderful contribution you've made, and we can ask Hungary. I've moved to the first
class again.
No problem. I think there be on balance. I get you there. Look, you're talking about. Me in high school, I go keep high school. I go all the time. I will say our right to protest, to say rights. Am I right? So if they are proposing policy, and also that determining what is being policy, we must also completely the area they maneuver voting process. Hello?
We're listening.
Okay, yes, the area they've been maneuvered made us to lose hope. I was know it. So Samson have been saying over time that even the idea of say subjecting that whether they can form of registration before they can reside their vote for me is an infringement. For as you say, if you want to protest my address, the protest no right. Don't inform me what to do and what I'm protesting. Don't need for registration. But what we need is your registration citizens who their identity mentored with like me. That beavers they have maybe they go and be cast biometrics or something. That is what we do. Need more registration. I about this the money we use and the things are all revenue. For them say collect or register us for when we are registered. For me, it's a waste of resources and on. Do we not have people like we in the areas we can talk? I've been thinking of reaching out to you.
All right.
Reform this seriously because how
all
this
right.
is
I'm talking about to mandate at the end of the day. Good. This just echo the mind of results when there's no guarantee the process is even visible. When there's no guarantee that my vote we can
Absolutely, and you can see the views expressed quite legitimate. It tells you, for me, there are just three things. I'm quite excited that I answer speak about this particular issue, and I hope that as far as the energy and the resistance to other post legislations, the National Assembly is concerned for electoral reform. So we need to keep our eye on what the National Assembly is doing with respect to the Electoral Act. I didn't include us early enough, and because the election is about 638 days.
Oh, by
yes, we're less than the next election. As you can see, it appears we're already in the elections with all the endorsements and billboards everywhere, even though the law says campaigns should start the air down 50 days before they will actually in campaign mode. I think the second critical need to that of this is the need to demand higher standard institutions. I think as a critical in this, we need to hold INEC to higher standard. Let's not accept what politicians are trying to push down our throats, that your votes don't count.
Yeah.
And I know that people are so
but it's not about changing it, but the use of the people. Because how people this is what we got at our ward level, how it was disrupted at our ward level.
Yeah.
And then just feels all effort wasted.
But you know, the truth is, for people who have experienced this, the more you stay on the polling station, more this is struggle. It's a strong evil against people who want to subvert the will of the people. We need to and protect our will during elections. And the best way is to show up at the polling unit, cast a vote at the polling unit, when count ballots at least it was substituted because here. But if you're not there, you can't say, right, with a high degree of certainty that a manipulation has actually. I say that when we as citizens contest demands and continue to advocate and engage as we do in this bill, the politicians will know that they don't take Nigerians. And so I urge Nigerians out there, discourage what you see happening in Gold Base. It is one of the things that we in this journey of building our country and building it. It will be worse if we further let them have their way. We need to put up a resistance. And the way to put up a resistance is to be vigilant, is to continue to ask questions and to continue to demand on those who you have, including those who you have not elected, because it's our interest. Nigerians, not their own personal interest.
Something thank for what you're saying. You're talking about stands. My state Rivers, for example, where I shown indeed discrepancies. It was announced by ICAV. What do you expect the action for people to do? It just feels like you get to see perceived as high of a particular stage where people went out and it feels like this tension and they're seeing something contrary to what they want. And then you have groups like you're saying, this doesn't add up for this state.
Yeah, you see, the reason why we continue to do this is one thing that is when I see Nigerians talk away, speak on radio, and Nigerians are calling to this program, and I'm getting because your Nigerians care. They care about country. They want things to change. That is how countries are built. If people call and say they are not interested, it will give me a serious cause to worry. If you take Rivers, yes, we did. We exposed the manipulation, and we stand by that. We've been called names of the gangs that get committed for the process. We want you to do that on chain because that's what you need citizens vigilant. That's how we see troops. Yes, he exposed manipulation. This is what he wanted to do. But history that at a certain point in time, Nigerians rose and they detected this about it. But I tell you, politicians on there, I say exist. Even though they're so reckless and also with high degree of impunity, some of them are about political legitimacy. And the ask to them and this election. And the way to that, it comes right question. So this is just come. You don't want that bill come. As soon as this bill come on, should rise up, condemn this bill legislator. So, because 1 week, the debate on this particular process, the National Assembly approach it has taken is antithetical democratic party as well as the will and interest of Nigerians will if they proceed with this bill. If they proceed this bill, simply is number after.
That's why they might as well on the National Assembly into prison.
Exactly. I believe they will take the voice of reason. There is no voice of reason than that which comes from the people. become a product of the vote you passed. All the password you say no to compulsory voting bill, it's able to is to do to be because not on what the public have said yes to. Electronic transmission of results, INEC's independence, early voting, resolving electoral disputes before swearing. Nigerians have said they want. So if you're their legislators, do what they've asked you to do because after all, our MPs.
Or we have others waiting outside the studio. Very big thing, I guess.
Always a delight.
Always a delight. Back to you soon then. Thank you very much, Samson.
Thank you.
And thank you, Abja. I see all of you coming over there, but you can visit our YouTube page for Tickle. We'll take a quick break. We'll bring in an auto clean fix. Stay with 95.1 Niger.
Place